And typically, I get work done and all that. I swear, as soon as I hit live or try to record, I get an important phone call, or my cat's bothering me, or I don't know what it is. Uh, Anyways, eSIMstudios, appreciate you joining me this evening. A little late, but that's how it is when you are trying to run a business and do YouTube at the same time. I promise you, if I can go full time, on YouTube, I'll be live all day, right? I'd probably have better quality videos, better edited videos. A number of people have been reaching out to me saying, hey, video editors just randomly reach out, kind of like cold calling, where they're like, I can do this, we can do this with your video, that with your video. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. I tried to do my video yesterday that I did. Normally I'll just do clips. Like I'll do the live stream tonight. I'll download the recording from StreamYard. I'll clip it up, upload those clips as videos, or I'll make a dedicated video like yesterday for the Nothing Phone 4a Pro. I'll throw a little bit of editing in there. I'm not making a movie or anything, but try to make it at least where something visually appealing. May not be a lot, but try to throw something in there. Same thing with my case reviews. Just trying to throw a little something in there. I'm sure I could make a really nice looking YouTube video. And maybe at some point I'll get there, right? But maybe when I go full time on YouTube, maybe I'll do that. Hopefully this year. I'm trying to transition from business to YouTube. I'm just stuck in this weird phase where kind of in between, right? Where I'm still trying to generate revenue online business wise, and still trying to grow on YouTube, but maybe I should just jump all in. I don't know, but okay. Appreciate you joining me this evening. Friday evening, 7 o'clock on a Friday night. Hope everybody had a great week. I do have a couple of things to talk about here. I want to discuss with you, maybe get your input as well. I had a day, about a day, a little over 36 hours to sit on the Nothing Phone 4a Pro design, which takes some hints from the Nothing Aura, from the Nothing aesthetics, and brings it into this new design for the 4a Pro. From what I've seen online, I've seen a lot of good remarks, good reviews, good comments in regards to the design. I've seen maybe just a couple of negative comments, but a large majority of them are positive. But I'm excited. I'm very excited, and this is why I love Nothing. Now I'm trying to. I don't want to just be gushing all over the phone and make it seem like I'm some Nothing fanboy. I probably am, for those of y'all that are new to the channel, I was all in on Nothing from the very beginning, and then I just fell off a cliff when they brought the Nothing Phone 3 out. I was like, whatever. But I'm certainly back into fandom mode. So we'll see how it is. I'm gonna order one as soon as we get one, as soon as they're available, and we'll do reviews and stuff like that. But S23 Ultra, right about an hour before we went live, right around 6. Yeah, it's been about an hour. Got an email that my phone shipped. All 3 of them shipped. They'll be here on Monday, and we look forward to that. I got a bunch of cases here that we are gonna review. Thinborn, Rinky, Spigen. I got these over here. What is this? Tongate. They sent me some Tongate. So we'll get that rolling. But how is everybody doing today? Appreciate you joining us. Monday, isn't it? Nah, it's not. The way things are going, it'll be here before you know it. I mean, it'll come quick, right? And I don't even think we're going to do an unboxing. I mean, I may just roll the unboxing into a short because, I mean, who wants to see an unboxing? That's the other thing. with nothing. I'm glad that there is a phone company that's willing to take a chance on design, on looks. And it makes me a little more frustrated at Samsung for sticking with this design. Now, I'm a Samsung user. I just am. I've been a Samsung user my whole life, right? And I'm still going to use my S26 Ultra probably as my number 2 phone, to be completely honest with you. I was thinking about it. I think I'm going to use the 4A Pro as my main phone, meaning like my personal SIM that family calls me on. I'm going to put that in the 4A Pro, but use the S26 Ultra as my work phone for work and or content for YouTube. But it makes me a little upset at Samsung for sticking with this design. Now, it's not ugly by any means, right? I think it's a decent looking phone, right? I think it looks a lot better than some other phones that are out there. But it just makes you appreciate, I guess, nothing, willing to take a chance and not just being some regular phone company from Timbuktu that just puts out this generic look and design. It actually has real fans of the company like myself excited. Like, I feel like a kid in a candy store again. Like, I cannot wait to get my hands on these on the 4A Pro. And I'm like, with the S26 Ultra, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be nice. Just get it in, get my data transferred on it, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no real like spunk or fire or excitement, I guess, is what I'm kind of feeling. So that's why I've supported nothing in the past. I think they put out a phenomenal product. I believe in the company, and I'm excited that we have a device on the way. You like the look of the 4A Pro? Yeah, see, I have to curb my excitement. So if you look, it's a mid-range phone. Now, I know I'm going to get the 12 gig 256 storage model variant. So they have one that starts at $499, but it's the 8 gig 128, which I don't know why they're doing that. But once you get up to the $599 price tag, you're getting up there where you might need to bring some specs to the table, because it's not a budget phone anymore. And I think because I mean, what is the 15 OnePlus 15R start at? Like, they raised the price. I think they're $699, so they're $100 more, but they bring a flagship level CPU. The only specs that I'm not comfortable with the 4A Pro, not necessarily comfortable with, but it does have UFS storage 3.1, but technically that's an upgrade, because the previous A series I think had UFS storage 3.0. And there is a huge jump in performance between 3.0 and 3.1. So I think we'll be able to tell the difference in performance. Of course, the CPU, it's a Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. Look, y'all know I don't game, and I'm not going to be editing my videos on that phone. So that's why I think I'm going to use that as my personal phone, and then edit videos, shoot content on the S26 Ultra. It's got the beast CPU in it, so I think that'll work out best for me. But will it edit videos? Sure. Can you game on there? I guess. I don't know. I don't game, so I just, I'm okay with price tag might be a little higher than I would like on a mid-range phone, to be quite honest with you. And we'll have to see how the cameras are. Apparently they use some pretty good sensors, so I'm sure it'll be fine, right? I'm sure it'll be fine. It will be fine. Yeah, it has UFS 4, I think 4.1 or 4.0, I can't remember. Nothing has so much potential, just missed almost every time. Sad, because what they need to do is so obvious. Yes, they do have potential. I think if they make, I think that's where they look. They're still young, right? They're still what, 3 or 4 years old. So you learn from your mistakes. And I think they learned a very crucial lesson from this Nothing Phone 3. I was not down with that launch. As soon as I saw it, I didn't even see what the specs were. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I'm out. But when I did see the specs, I thought they made a very crucial mistake that I think they're going to learn from in the future. Because when you put out a quote unquote flagship phone, got to have flagship specs. You really need a top tier CPU. What they used was like a top tier mid range CPU, right? And look, for what they were asking for it, what was it, $800? You can get a S26, the base model, for $800, and it has flagship specs. So you see what I'm saying? I think you're completely right. I think they'll learn from this, right? I can guarantee you they didn't sell many of them. So when they go back to the drawing board, I think they're going to bring a better product for us whenever that time is. Maybe it'll be next year. Well, obviously, because the 4As, they're only phone for 2026. So, and that's why I was saying, you really, as a young company like that, you really can't mess up too many times. You can have it. I'll give you a mulligan, right? Like I'll let you mess up once, but if you start releasing phones where you continually miss, like if they missed on this phone 3, which they did, and then let's say they come out with something crazy or do something wild, or don't meet our expectations when it comes to specs. If they miss again, like have 2 phone misses in a row and then possibly 3, it's over for them, right? It's over. So that's why it was crucial for them to really nail this next phone release. It was absolutely crucial to bring back customers like myself and some customers like you, that I think a lot of us were in the same shoes, where we like nothing. We love the energy, the new phone company, something new, something fresh. And with the phone 3, man, really fell off, and kind of keep them in the back of my mind back here. But it helps rejuvenate the excitement in the company. So they do have a ton of potential, and the good news is they're on the right track. They are on the right track with this 4A Pro. Now I think I'm gonna get the 4A. We'll have to order one on eBay or something, right? Very excited about the Pro. I probably won't get the 4A, to be completely honest with you. I think the Pro is all we'll need, and I see why they bring it to the US market. So if you've ever used a nothing phone, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say it's a joy to use the phone, the operating system. It's nice. I like the operating system. I don't know. They're saying Sony sensors, so I guess that's the price tag. Probably. Now, that's a good thing, because I think we put too much emphasis, too much focus on camera. I was just thinking this, what was it, yesterday? I think we put too much emphasis on resolution. Now, nobody wants a phone that takes bad photos. And I get it. Trust me, I've had phones that take horrible photos, embarrassing photos, like the Z Flip 4. Or was it 3 or 4? Holy crap, was that bad. Embarrassing. You get past 3x and it's just a blur. It's just a blob of blurriness. That was bad. All right. But I think they made a decent decision with these Sony sensors. Look, who has the very best camera phone? Once you get towards that top of the list, doesn't matter. Now it matters for Samsung with the S26 Ultras. It matters with Apple with the iPhone 17 Pros, because there's always going to be that battle, right? Pixel's always going to have good quality photos, but just as long as nothing brings a decent camera experience to the table, I think users will be fine. Yes, they do need longer software support. That's one thing y'all know I don't hesitate to criticize, and that's probably why I don't get sent a lot of stuff. But I agree with you, and I'm going to keep on hammering that point. I always at them in every video that I at everybody. If I do a video about a Thinborn case review, I at Thinborn in the description. So they get a notification that I made a video, right, about whatever the topic was. And who knows if they've seen a video. I have no clue. But I always at them just in case one of their people, the marketing team, somebody, design team sees a video. I'm always going to harp on that. That's the next step. That's the next step they need to take for people to take them serious, is longer software support. To be honest with you, when I saw 3 years, I was like all in and like, man, this is like too good to be true. You know, could they have used a better CPU? Sure. And that's probably one of the specs that I'm not like super happy about, but it'll do. It'll do. But that's when I got to software updates. That's what I was like, yeah, that's going to come back and bite them in the ass. Everybody's going to mention, including myself, that they need longer software support. And I think they will with time. But they've been sitting on 3 years of software support for, I think, since the phone 1. So it's like, what are we waiting for? At least increase it 1 year. But they've been sitting on 3 forever. Now, I think what they did do is increase the security patch timeline, where I think when the phone 1 came out, I think it was 3 years software support, 4 years of security updates. And then I think they jumped up to 3 years of software updates, 4 years of security patches on the phone 2 or 3. But they're still stuck on 3 years of software updates and 5 years of security updates. It's like, if you're going to be updating it for 5 years, why can't you just provide software updates? Like, if you're providing monthly security patches, provide me with provide us with some software updates, right? Now, interestingly enough, for these phone companies, so like for Samsung, for Xiaomi, for Google, Apple, there's a lot of money spent in R&D, but a lot of people don't know that, especially for companies like Nothing and or OnePlus, that's kind of sitting under a smaller umbrella, meaning they don't have these billion-dollar revenues like Apple and Samsung. You know, they're working with a smaller pot, meaning the employees they can pay. Developers, especially for software developers, that all they do is work on the next release of the software version, that's a huge percentage of how much the company that's coming out of payroll. Like, it's a lot, especially the more developers you have, they're making pretty good money. The more developers you have, you know, the bigger team you have to work on this, to work on that. I think it'll come with time as more revenue comes in. They're going to hire more people. They're going to hire more developers. But when they come out with their next flagship phone, so when they come out with the phone 4, if they don't, they're going to get blasted. I'm just letting you know, they're going to get blasted if they come out with a flagship phone next year with only 3 years of software support. They're going to get laughed out the building, right? So you got to at least provide us, I would say, with 4 years of software updates. But at this point, they're going to have to come with 5 years of software updates. I'm sorry. To be taken serious, you're just going to have to. I'll accept 4, but they need to be at 5. I'm talking about software updates, not just patches, software updates. And if they're stuck at 3 again, they're going to get blasted, including myself, because I don't think that's acceptable at this point in time, and especially with where they're at. You know? How could they not see the 3? I don't know. I was shocked. I literally thought they were trolling. Because, you know, I don't know if you follow them on social media. They're actually very active on social media. They throw out little hints here, little hints there. I thought it was a joke. I said, no, there's no way. They're trolling. I didn't believe it. Like, honestly. I was like, that's not it. There's no way. That's not it. It was. I think they were trying to give you an honest answer. I think they were trying to be a little too different, if you know what I mean. And I think this 4A Pro, allows them to be different, but they reeled it back in a little bit, right? The the three, I have no clue what they were doing with that phone. Yeah, I think nothing should be used upper mid-range media. Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's what I was thinking. Oh man, was it yesterday afternoon? That's what I was thinking too. Now, I wish more phone companies would use MediaTek. The MediaTek chips I've used, I thought they were great. And from from a supplier standpoint, you can actually get a comparable MediaTek CPU to it. Well, a decent flagship Snapdragon CPU. You can get a comparable MediaTek chip for a little cheaper, right? That's in the same class of chip, right? MediaTek's great. Now, I do know Nothing signed a Qualcomm deal last year to put out 3 models of phones, meaning Nothing signed a deal with Qualcomm stating 3 generations of phones. Now, the upcoming, let's see, so the first phone in that three phone deal, meaning Qualcomm would have to supply Nothing with whatever models they would come out with, 3 models. So hopefully after that's done, they'll open it up and start using some MediaTek chips. So I think this is so they had the phone 3 that came out, that was one. This one that came out, the 4A and 4A Pro, that's one. And what was the other one? I think the 3A was the first phone model that was on that deal. Yeah. So the 3A, the 3, and then the 4A series. So technically on their next phone, which I'm assuming would be the phone 4, I guess technically it could, unless they re-up and sign again with Qualcomm. I hope they make the switch. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I hope they do. I kind of wish Google did too. I'm kind of getting tired of this whole tensor thing. We're like 5 years in and I'm like twiddling my fingers like, really, we're still here? We're still here, Google, really? I wish they would switch to MediaTek. So I just don't see the benefit. I mean, they're saying, oh, it's so great using your own. And I get it, but Jesus, they are so far behind. They're manufactured in India instead of. Yeah, I saw that. I did see that news that the phones are going to be in. You're talking about the Nothing phones, right? So they're actually manufactured in India instead of China. Now, when was this? I think when Trump first got into office, so this is probably about a year ago, when the whole tariff thing was going down, right? When he got into office, a couple months after he got into office and started issuing these tariffs all around the world, I actually broke down the numbers, did a bunch of research, and found out actually for these phone companies, remember, because Apple was all these phone manufacturers where their heads were going to explode. Oh my God, all these tariffs. What are we going to do with all of our suppliers and manufacturers? And this is going to totally screw up revenue. And tariffs going to mess up everything. It is actually cheaper. Now, of course, all this is negotiated, right? This is all negotiated deals, prices, but labor costs are actually cheaper in India than they are in China. Now, I can't remember what it comes down to per hour of labor between the two, but I do know India did have China beat from this point essentially about a year ago. Maybe it's changed, maybe it's not, but I don't blame them. Hey, if you can, trust me, look, if you can save 10 cents on labor per hour, or you can save 10 cents for a part inside the phone with choosing a different supplier, that could equal hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, depending on how many devices you manufacture, obviously. But it's just a penny makes a huge difference when you're manufacturing, especially for people like Samsung, when you're making millions and millions of phones. That stuff matters. So, hey, and it's good because India, obviously nothing is based in the UK, in London. That's where their headquarters are. They actually have a big store and or corporate offices in India, and CMF. They moved the CMF corporate office to India. So I think that's important. I think it's important for nothing to really support the India uh, customers. Quite frankly, they're pretty big over there, so I like it. Hey, if it works for them, it works for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care where my phone's made. I don't give a damn. I just want a good working piece of technology, right? Stuff. I have stuff from, well, almost everything from here is made in China, but um, I don't have any problem with them making stuff in India. Apple moved some of their manufacturing to India, so you know, is if it's worth it for them, it's worth it. Yeah, software is very smooth. I like it. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Samsung thinks they got something here with the Exynos 2700. They do offer a better value. Yes, that was a problem in a lot of people's opinion. How's it going? Hey, what's up, brother? You doing all right? Now, let's see. How long have I going on here? Okay, so check this out. We have Pixel 11. Speaking of Pixel, we have Pixel 11 news, design news, right? We got, I guess we already talked most about the Nothing phone. But there's a good article, and I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking this way. Let me show you something real quick. Because, what the hell? Look, check this out. Watch. There's a good article in WCCF Tech that the S26 series sales are pulling ahead of the S25 lineups, incentivizing Samsung's laziness. So, speaking of Nothing and the 4A Pro and the design and how different but cool it looks. So, Samsung S25 Ultra or S25 series and the S25 Ultra is breaking sales records. This S26 Ultra is breaking the sales records from the S25 Ultra. It's blowing out sales from the S24 Ultra, S23 Ultra, S22 Ultra. This is on pace for the best-selling Ultra ever, which is shocking. And I get the editor, the writer of this article, I get why he's saying that, because, look, it's a nice phone. I'm not shitting on Samsung. I use it as my daily driver. But when it comes to design, and I'm not going to repeat what I said earlier, with something it's something that rejuvenates design, you get excited about. I mean, I'm excited a little bit because it's a new phone, but it'll wear off like that. Like after day 2 or 3, I'm like, it's just my Samsung I'm used to carrying in my pocket and using every day, right? But when I'm going to be using the Nothing Phone 4A Pro, weeks are going to go by, possibly months, a couple months probably. I'm going to turn it around and look at it and be like, wow, this thing looks freaking badass. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's time for some of these companies, not necessarily to make these drastic changes and do all sorts of crazy shit to their phones. No, but give us something. Like, I don't know. But here's a good point. Why would they change something when the sales are so good, right? I guarantee you people in the sales department and or marketing department are like, no, don't change anything. We just broke sales records. Look at these numbers. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to communicate that design wise. Hey, you need to change something. This is boring. And they're like, boring? What do you mean? We just blew out all of our sales records, you know? So, but hey, if you're getting tired of it, go to something else, right? That's why, you know, there's a few different phone companies out here that you could switch to. So I just thought that was I'm glad somebody else spotted the same thing I was I was seeing, and or at least thinking, right? Because I was thinking the same thing. Damn, how are they breaking sales records? It's the same freaking phone. People get swept up. They get swept away. Remember last year it was all about AI this, AI that. And I'm like, I don't even use AI really. I mean, I do, but I don't, right? And now they're like privacy display, privacy display. Um, and I'm like, are people really going to use that? Like, I mean, I'm sure some will, but uh, I'm not, so whatever. Now, Pixel 11. Not a big shocker here. Speaking of rolling right into our next topic, Pixel 11 Pro XL. There you go. That's what it looks like. Now, this was courtesy of Thinborn. I wish Thinborn sent this to me a day or two early. I thought we had a better relationship than that, Thinborn. You could have let me you could have let me leak the design for the Pixel 11. No, I'm just joking. That's all good. So this is the Pixel 11 Pro XL. Now, at first glance, I was like, damn, I don't really see any changes. But actually, now that after looking at it for an hour or two, I see some changes. So, look, do I have my Pixel in here? I don't think I do. It's probably in the other room. Oh, you know what? I have a case. Let me see, because there's no buttons on this. So if you're holding it, it would be on your left-hand side of the phone. Let me get a case real quick. Do they have buttons on the left side, or is it all? No, they're all on the right side. I'm sorry. They're all on the right side. I got so many phones, I can't remember where buttons are. So that's normal. So the only thing I can see that's slightly different, and they probably did it just so you have to buy all new cases, a la Apple. They're famous for doing this. They change one button like a 1/16 of an inch down just so the cases don't fit. So you got to buy all new cases. The only thing I can see is the camera bump, the camera hump, right? Where the camera bar sits seems to be a little smaller, seems to be a little short, meaning I looked at my other cases earlier, and the Thinborn case for the Pixel 10 Pro, the little lip that goes around the camera island does come up a little more, maybe twice as much. So maybe this year Google is, because that's a big camera hump. I mean, it's a hefty camera hump. Maybe they just shrink it down a bit, right? I mean, that's I don't know. I mean, it looks like Apple's going to be sitting on this design, on their design, and then the only thing that's going to change for Apple is the iPhone 20 for the 20th anniversary. They're going to make some crazy looking iPhone, but they're still going to have the other iPhones, other models for sale that are going to look just the same as this year's Apple iPhone does. So really, nothing's changing there. You can see Samsung has no incentive to change their design. They're killing sales records with the S26 Ultra. And Google's, I think, still the fastest growing market share, something like that, right? They're doing pretty good in sales, so they're not really incentivized to change anything. So yeah, same old, same old. So I'm sure the Tensor G6 will be underwhelming, and they still plan on putting the 200 charging cycle limit on these. So I'm going to be honest. Look, this is kind of in the future, at least another 6 months, but I don't know if I'll probably get one just to get one. But normally we buy 3 a year, and I don't think I'm going to be doing that this year because I don't know. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. What do you think everyone bandwagon Snapdragon chips? Seems like their chips get much more expensive as time goes on. Do you think the brand name brings customers and or keeps customers happy? Why do you think everyone bandwagon Snapdragon chips? Well, I like Snapdragon chips. Now, it's they've been a little more consistent when it comes to products that they put out and or performance with said product, right? So I was not happy I know some people were completely fine. I had the complete opposite with this S25 Ultra. Probably the worst experience I've had on a Snapdragon chip. Right. Um, Mine, if you go back to this time last year, I had massive issues. I had three of them, S25 Ultras. All three of them had overheating issues. Um, Now, was that because the phone is titanium and not aluminum? I'm sure it had something to do with it. Did it not have a big enough vapor chamber? I'm sure that had something to do with it. But typically, look, the CPU that's in the Motorola Signature, the CPU that's in the OnePlus 15R, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 5, it's a fantastic CPU. The 8 Elite Gen 5, fantastic. The only thing I think that's hurting them, and you got it right, is the price. And you might see companies fall back like nothing on MediaTek, and that's where MediaTek steps in. That's why it's so important to have competition in any market, because if something gets out of whack or out of hand, like price with a certain product, the competition saying, hey, I got a comparable product and it's 20% cheaper, you know. So you might see nothing go to MediaTek. I love MediaTek, as I mentioned earlier. I wish more companies would use them. So I don't know. They're actually very. I'm part of the developers program for Snapdragon, but so I mean I'm not, you know, dissing them or anything. I think y'all know me. But at this point, I'm pretty honest with my opinions. And look, you're always going to have a bad product here or there, but they're going to be in trouble. My prediction, and we'll move on. My prediction is they're going to be in trouble in 3 years. Google has their own CPU. Apple has their own CPU. Samsung looks like they have their shit together. They're going to roll on. They're going to go all Exynos on all Samsung Galaxy phones in about a year, and probably in a couple years, 3 at the most. So where does that leave Qualcomm? If their CPUs are getting too expensive, I can see nothing going to MediaTek. So they're going to be in a pinch here if they don't. And it's easy to say this, reduce their price, right? Because that's not easy to do. But you see them get into wearable space. I was going to do a story. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it today because I got to get out of here. But they have this new wearables right here. Check this out. They have this new wearables CPU. And what do you know? I don't even have the story pulled up. I thought I did, but whatever. We'll get to it later. Qualcomm's going to have a strategic maneuver. They're going to have to really maneuver on this future road here pretty, because again, a lot of these phone companies are making their own CPUs now. Samsung's probably their biggest customer, and they've been trying forever to go all Exynos and just can't get it. While Qualcomm sitting back there saying, "Yeah, y'all keep on trying that Exynos CPU," you know. But it looks like they finally got it. So again, with the Exynos 2600, that's in some markets in the S26 and S26 Plus. They're going to adopt even more markets for the Exynos 2700. For the S27 series. And I think if that goes good, Samsung's going to go all in. All Exynos, all Samsung Galaxies for the S28 series. And Qualcomm's going to shit a brick because there goes their biggest customer. And it's billions of dollars in revenue. So they're going to have to switch some stuff up. But they're getting in the car space. With these drivable, self-driving cars. They're in wearables. Look, they're not $1 billion company by accident. So that's part of owning a business is, you know, if something, you know, maneuvering, trying to find your way, deal with competition, try to innovate with products. So trust me, if I'm talking about it and thinking about it right now, they must have thought of this and where they're headed years ago. So I'm sure they'll probably be okay. They have a good head on their shoulders. I think they have good executives that'll steer them in the right direction. Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. It's all about the BSPR from Sam. You really brainwashing to thinking there's one or two phones outdated and it's no good. It's sad. Yeah, I try to stay away from that same thing, man. And to be honest with you, I said this yesterday. That's why I don't watch a whole lot of tech videos. I don't fanboy out. Probably the nothing launch is probably the most excited I've been or fanboyish I've been about one of these phones. But I've criticized them heavily for the phone 3. So I can't stand people that just praise somebody or praise a company or something, some entity, and don't acknowledge when the company or the person does something wrong. It's just, oh, they can do no wrong, blah 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 blah. I hate people that do that. Look, it is what it is. If you screw up, you screw up. If you do good, you do good, right? So I can't stand the. That's why I don't get involved a lot. I have to stop myself with the online chatter, Reddit stuff, stuff like that. I can get caught up in that pretty easy. But yeah, I know. I feel the same way. People are brainwashed. Yes, big time. Are they overpriced? Um, See, this is hard, and this is hard to explain. I was I was just talking to my dad about this the other day. It's hard to explain because I feel the consumers, like from our point of view, buying a phone. This shit is very expensive. I just had to buy three S26 Ultras. I know how expensive it is. However, if you own a company or you know a little bit about business, just the bare minimum, you know they have to make a profit. And especially when you get to that level, when you have shareholders, it's just an insane amount of pressure for you to bring in revenue, right? Um, so it's hard for me to answer that. Are they overpriced? Look, realistically, yes. There's your answer. Yes, they are. However, I see why they're overpriced. Uh, because they have to turn a profit. They got to pay employees. They have insurance. They got rent, lease agreements. So yes, that's your answer. Minority tech community complains about the Pixel 10 chip, but usability is what truly matters. I know many people who own Pixel 10 series phones and they are thoroughly satisfied with them. Yes, and you are 1000% correct. And to be completely honest with you, I put my whole family on Pixels, if that says anything, right? So again, it may seem like I'm shitting on Google, and maybe I am, uh, but they're good phones, right? They work fine. They're nice. They're fluid. They can essentially do anything and everything any other phone can do. So my whole thing is, if you're happy with a Pixel, I'm happy for you, right? Now, everybody's different, and I think the axe I've had to grind with Google and or the Pixel team probably is not a big concern for a majority of people, right? My criticisms are very finite, very specific complaints, and maybe we should not compare them. I shouldn't say not compare them, but maybe we should look at Pixel in another lens and not necessarily compare it to an S26 Ultra or a OnePlus 15, right? Maybe it is not necessarily meant for the enthusiasts that or the spec hungry consumers, right? Um, I have a big issue with them setting a limit on charging, on the 200 charging cycle thing. That's almost the death blow for me, because me personally, that means I can only use that phone for essentially 200 charging cycles, which comes out to basically 6 months, and then I'm selling the phone. Why am I going to buy a brand new Pixel at launch, keep it for 6 months, sell it, and then I'm without a Pixel for the next 6 months? It's really in. I'm sure not many other people think about this, but I do, right? So and yeah, look, tensors, I understand why they went that route, but maybe we shouldn't compare them to a OnePlus 15, as I mentioned. right? Or a S26 Ultra, because it's not going to beat you on, it's not going to blow away you on the spec sheet. But I don't think that's necessarily their customer, right? As I mentioned, I put my entire family in Pixels, so that means my 65-year-old dad has a Pixel, my 63-year-old mother had a Pixel, she's gone now, but her phone's still here. My grandparents are all in Pixels, so I think that kind of, and they asked me, hey, I think I'm ready for a new phone. What should I get? I buy them a Pixel and say, here, use this, basically, right? So it is what it is. They're great phones. I'm not saying they can't do anything any other phone cannot do. But, you know, I don't know. Look, their market share is growing, growing. So they're good phones. And I know a lot of people that have them. I know which phone you're talking about. You'll never buy a Pixel with this slash chipset. AI is not all there. PR says it. I hardly ever use it. Yeah, I don't either. AI, yeah, I don't. And of course, you try it when you first get it. You're like, let's see what this AI thing is all about. But in your daily routine, in your daily activities, I don't touch AI. Like I do for content stuff like writing, or summarizing an article like this OnePlus 15 that we haven't even talked about, OnePlus 15T. You know, I'll throw it in there and give me a TLDR of what's this article about, so I don't have to read it. But that's the extent of it, right? Let's do this. I gotta get out of here. I was supposed to be on here for 30 minutes and it's been an hour. Let's do a giveaway and then I'll get out of here. We'll have to hit this OnePlus 15T news on the next one. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to the eSIMstudios YouTube channel. I'll try to do a giveaway at least once a week. I think this will be number 2 for the week. So do this. If you're still watching live, make sure you go to the chat and type in hashtag gift. And then we'll do it real quick. Right there. See the banner on the bottom? Put that in right there. I got to get out of here. Fast exit. Put that in the chat. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I definitely got to get out of here. Okay, y'all ready? Especially when you compare it to the Chinese budget phones. Yeah. Charging speed, premium phones like Samsung and iPhone, they don't even include a charger anymore. Nowadays, it feels like a downgrade. Yeah, once you use a fast charge, I'm talking about really fast charging phone. Like there's some Chinese phones. What is it? The GT, what is it? A GT Neo, or the Realme phones, or the OnePlus phones. Use a phone that goes from 0 to 100 in 21 minutes. You're like, and then with the OnePlus 15, you have battery life that's like 2 days battery life, and it charges in 20 minutes. And you go to another phone, you're like, what am I doing? Like why is Samsung, why is Apple, why is Google, why does it take like an hour to charge these phones? And why don't they last, more than a day? It's like, I know. It changes your life. 2-day battery life will change your life. When you don't have to look for a charger for 2 days, it's insane. It is crazy. Make sure you put hashtag gift, GIFT, and we'll do it right now. The 200 chart, and we'll do an Amazon e-gift card or a Cash App, right? Whichever one you choose. I'll get with you on the back end here, and whoever wins, it's your choice. That 200 charging cycle is definitely going to affect their price on the second-hand market. Boy, I'm telling you. And here's the thing. Not many people know about that. Like no, and look, Google doesn't want you to know that. for people like you and me, of course, there's some people that goes right over their head, right? But for people like you and me, or an average person that likes some technology, yeah, they're not gonna. I don't think a lot of people know that. All right, I got to get out of here. Y'all ready? All right, sweet. Let's go. Brian Radamore, 1776. Congratulations to you, sir. I think I have your info, but please do me a favor. Email me so I don't have to go searching through thousands of emails. eSIMstudios at gmail.com. And for those of y'all that did not win, please stick around. Catch our live streams. I do these at least once a week. Just give away Amazon gift cards and or cash apps, your choice. We give away earbuds, Android TV boxes. I think I've given away watches, smartwatches, CMF stuff, and we're gonna do a CMF Phone 2 Pro giveaway in probably about a couple months. I'm gonna plan that out. But we're gonna do phone giveaways, cases. I give away cases, tons of cases. So subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate your time, and hope everybody has a safe, eventful Friday evening. And we'll see you tomorrow. Peace, guys and girls. Cool. Appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you soon.